In this video, we take a brief look at how to get input from the user and how to display output to the screen. So one of the most common things you start to do when you're writing your first simple Python programs is to display output to the screen, and we do that with the print command, and also to accept input type typically from the keyboard from the user and to store it in a variable in your program. And we're going to have a look at how those work now. So one option with the input command is just to do input open close brackets, and that simply waits for the user to press enter before carrying on with the rest of your program. The results of you having pressed enter aren't assigned or stored anywhere. Typically though, you'll want people to actually type some characters on the keyboard which you then assign to a variable. So we write the name of the variable on the left, here it's called my name, and then we say my name equals, or my name will become assigned to the result of, and then we write the word input, and if we want a prompt to the screen, we can supply a string in double quotes inside brackets. So here the user will see the prompt, what is your name? They've typed Craig, and when they press enter, the value Craig will be assigned or stored in the variable my name. You can also output to the screen. So print, open close brackets, simply prints a blank line to the screen and moves the cursor down. Print brackets and then a string, for example, hello world in double quotes, prints the contents of that string to the screen. Instead of supplying a string in double quotes, we could supply a variable, for example, print brackets my name brackets. Of course, we stored the value Craig earlier in my name, so the word Craig now gets printed to the screen. We can also concatenate or join together strings that we supply in double quotes with strings and variables. So here I've got print open brackets double quotes hello space double quotes, so that's printing the word hello followed by a space, and then we're concatenating or joining that's the plus symbol, to the contents of the variable my name, which of course hold Craig. So on the screen again we see hello space Craig. Now here we see a calculation. We've performed a calculation. A becomes equal to 7 divided by 3. Now 7 divided by 3 is 2.333333 reoccurring, etc. So when I print the contents of A to the screen, I see 2.33333333, etc. Now this is the correct value that's currently being stored in the variable A, but it's not a particular user-friendly output to the user. We can use format commands to specify how a variable should be outputted. So here, for example, we want to restrict the number of characters returned from A to a fixed number of decimal places. So we open single quotes and open curly brackets. We then have a colon followed by the number of digits we want to display, that's 3, followed with a dot followed by the number of characters we want to display after the fixed decimal point. So that's going to be 2. So 3 in total, but 2 after the decimal point. And the small f there indicates how many that we want fixed decimal places. We close the curly brackets and the single quotes. We follow that by dot format and supply the original variable, which is A. And you can see it returns a much neater output to the screen. Now there are many other format specifiers that you can use, and these are all listed in the PLS. So that's the theory content of the video covered. We're just going to spend a little bit of time talking about the programming language subset. If you've heard this before, you can skip the rest of this video. Otherwise, it's definitely worth a quick watch. So the exam board at EDEXCEL have released a document that they call the Programming Language Subset, which you can see here on the right. This document specifies which parts of Python 3 are required in order that the assessment can be undertaken with confidence. Students familiar with everything in this document will be able to access all parts of the Paper 2 on-screen assessment. The exam board will not go beyond the scope of this document when setting you any questions in the Paper 2 exam. Any students who do successfully use more complex methods, which are not included in the document, will still, however, be awarded marks. Further to this, you will see here from the front of the exam paper that you're actually going to be supplied with a printed and an electronic copy of the PLS during your Paper 2 exam. Well, if this document outlines everything you need to know in order to program in Python during the exam, and you can be guaranteed that you can answer all the questions using all the techniques in this document for full marks, then you might as well get used to using it now. Ask for a copy from your teacher and have it as a reference guide at all times throughout your GCSE course. It will be invaluable.